Oh, damn gang, your boy went broke. That nigga went broke. So this isn't gonna be as refined as probably my future videos are gonna be, look, or feel. But I'm just trying to move out of obedience or moving out of obedience. And God didn't say make it super refined. He said sit down, stop procrastinating, putting it off, shoot the video, drop like one a day is what I feel he's telling me right now. And what I got going on in my life right now is, I feel like past 3 years, I just haven't, nothing I've done, even things I wanted to do, has gotten like the fullness of me. I haven't hit it or attacked it in the spirit of excellence. Like, posting on YouTube, been on my little vision board, my like, God box, things that I feel God has been moving me toward, like past 3 years, getting my finances right, different things that I just haven't taken any action on. I just was plagued with distraction, and I was fell into this cycle and this trap where I was just pursuing pleasure and mistaking the pleasure for comfort, and I was mistaking the comfort for peace. And that was the foolishness that I was stuck in willingly for the most part. I just felt there was so much on my plate that it was overwhelming, and I get so overwhelmed that then I don't do anything, and then every day it just piles and piles and piles. Another day of not doing what you know you're supposed to do, another day just towards this mountain that just feels insurmountable and overwhelming, towards like even if you do want to take a step towards it, you just become overwhelmed, and then another day goes by of inaction, and then it just piles up, and now you have this negative debt against yourself. And even when I would do things, I became so self reliant because God was asking me to do a lot of things that I have the ability to do, or maybe did do before super successfully or all right. And then I'm like, okay, like I got it. I've done it before. I can do it. And then when I did do it, even wanted to take some action or try to for little stints where I was consistent, I felt it was so much like toil and in a worldly way, and naturally the resistance and things that come with that when you're trying to do things, and even if they were successful, it just so much stress came with it all that God didn't intend. And because he gives us things to do in partnership with him, and I was just trying to do these things just completely on my own, just self-reliant, or doing them, be like, hey God, like bless this, whatever, but not actually seriously and having intention in the relationship where I'm like, okay, God, you want me to do this? Like, how do you want me to do this? All right, you want me to do it like this? This is what I'm feeling. I'm going to take action towards it in alignment with you and partnership with you. My heart wasn't in the right place, even when I was maybe not necessarily doing the wrong things, but my heart wasn't in the right place, so they didn't have the blessing on them that I would have liked. And I didn't have the peace. I just really haven't had peace past few years. And at various points, I'll just be like, God, like, I just want that peace that, like, only you can give. But I wasn't aligning myself with God. I have fallen back into that more of like happens to a lot of us, where you're using God like more like a genie, just like, hey, I'm talking to you now, I want you to do this. But instead of letting him to be the Lord over your life, you want to be the Lord over your own life with his input here and there, or his guidance here and there, opposed to giving over your life to him, because your life is not your own, your life is his. And I was having my life be my own. And recently I've really just come to the end of myself, like late November of 2025, and then pretty much like all of December. Out of like 31 days in December, there's probably like over 20 consecutive days where I was just in bed, just super depressed. Because before in early November, like I had like the stint of consistency. I was hitting the gym, felt like I was doing what I needed to do, and I like fell out of that, fell into this rut that I just couldn't get out of. And then there was less than like 10 days maybe in December that I like actually like did something. I left my house. All the other days I was spent just binge watching some shows or whatever and just doing nothing, just like eating in bed, and which something I don't even do, and then DoorDash and wasting money. And then from that, performance at my job fell off, didn't do well at all. And then like beginning first Monday of January 2026, got fired. And then I was just like, damn. Well, and then I started looking for jobs, and then connected with some people. Seems like a good opportunity. And then so took that, and then I just sat there a bit after I lost my job, and I found that out because they didn't even tell me. I just like went to log into my stuff, and like all my accounts were deleted, and I was like, I get it, it's valid though, because like I wasn't showing up, wasn't performing, and then I wasn't even showing up to like the one meeting we had a day for most of it. Maybe showed up like 3 times, 4 times out of the 2 months. So that's completely valid. I do the same thing. And I was just like, damn, nigga went broke. And then I just am grateful now, though, that it happened because I needed it. I was just felt so overwhelmed, so stressed, just overwhelmed mentally, didn't have the ability to like do anything, was having sales calls, super have filled with anxiety, hoping they didn't show up. And so it's good that it happened. It wasn't the fit for me. Definitely not ideal, but what God has been doing in this time has been amazing because it's allowed me to come to the end of myself, trying to do all these things. Like I was designing my life how like what I thought would be good for me, what would prosper me, and realizing like that wasn't it at all. And a lot of times, God won't let certain things succeed because if He does, then you won't be reliant on Him. And then it's grateful because sometimes they do succeed, and then you get to a whole point where you're like, dang, God wasn't in this, and now you gotta like reset, and like regardless either way, your world ends up kind of crumbling that you designed in your mind for what you thought would be best for you instead of consulting God who made you and actually knows exactly what's best for you to do, go through, not do, not go through. And so to this time I've started focusing back on Him, and it's like the past 3 years He's been telling me to do certain things, and I'm blessed because I know exactly what I need to be doing. I was just not obedient, and just either just blatantly disobedient or just plagued with distraction and the lack of focus and discipline. And all of that work that He's had for me the past 3 years and things He's been telling me to work towards and to start on are all still there, thankfully, because that means those blessings are still there and available. I was just the one delaying them. And now I'm like finally like, okay, I give up. I'm at the end of myself. I will do things your way willingly. And it was like last Wednesday, January 13th, I was just, feel like he's been calling me to get back into making music, which is something I used to do but stopped just because then again, another thing, like I wasn't doing for him at the time when I was doing it. And so that had to come to an end as well for me to learn my lessons and grow through that. And I was listening to this beat, working on this song that I had started working on like years ago, and then like it's kind of like a worship S song, and then I just felt like in my living room, just the Holy Spirit come over me, just like the presence of God, and I hadn't felt it. I didn't think I'd feel it again. Last time I felt it was like in summer of 2020, like June, when I was visiting my parents in Germany, where then again, yet again, was making like a worship song, and I just time of like heavy prayer and fasting for me, and then I just felt the presence of God so heavy. Felt like something coming like inside of me, all through me, in my mind and on the outside of me, and was just on my knees just crying because he just like revealed himself to me at a time I really needed it and was seeking it. And this time I didn't really expect it at all, and then it came over me very similarly, and I just started breaking down crying just because I just felt his love, and him saying like, I'm right here with you through all of this. Like, I am literally right here, literally with you. And I just rocked me, just like reset my vibe for the whole day. I didn't expect that. I just had to just sit there in it, just sit there with it. And I didn't feel deserving of it at all. It didn't come like from another time of like prayer and fasting. I was trying to get back in alignment, but like he blessed me with that. And since then I've just had this overwhelming sense of peace, that peace I had prayed for before, that peace that only he can provide, that surpasses all understanding. It just blessed me with it, and I'm just like, that power, that 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 God, like, it doesn't matter what my situation is and what I'm facing, like that surmounts everything and can do anything. And I'm like, I want to be in position, I want to stay in step with that love, that patience, that grace, that magnificence, that patience, so grateful, that gratitude. I don't want to leave that. I don't want to go back to the way I was living, to where I'm disconnected from that again. And now, hate to like expose myself, but just like from like didn't sell, I was in sales, didn't sell shit December, so didn't have no check for January, don't have a check for January, and then getting fired, so I'm like, damn, can grind up a check for February, and then getting accepted for this other job opportunity, but they're like, well, the stuff we got to set up for you to get started, it could be like a couple of days till we have that officially locked in, or it could be a couple weeks. And then the training is like going to be between like 2 to 3 weeks before you get to the money making part. And then I'm like, she. And then I'm like I'm eager to get started, nigga trying to get back to making some money. And then it's just kind of slow. It's not as fast as I'd like it to be. And so just realizations like, even though like I'm like, damn, exposing myself, I got like freaking like 18, 20K ish and like credit card, like personal loan debt, behind on my bills. And even though this is honestly one of the most unideal situations I've probably ever been in life, I feel all right. I feel peace. I'm okay with my patience being tested. Like, if this is it and it was right and this is the job, I feel like once I get in and I'm get going, I'll be making more money than I ever have in my life to date. And I'm okay with being patient, because I'm like, it's not getting there as fast as I'd like it to, but if that's not getting there and this is where God has called me to be, then it's going to happen. He's going to work everything out in his divine perfect timing. And so I just need to stay patient and not allow myself to succumb to the spirit of anxiety and doubt. Because in this time, I don't hear him, because I did it for like a day. I was like trying to grind. I was like, well, if it's gonna take this long, I need to try and find a job. But if it's only gonna be like 2-3 weeks, then like I don't know what job will hire me for that long. Maybe I need to get a dishwashing job at some like Mexican restaurant, like under the table type shit. And then I didn't hear him. I just stopped and I'm just like, what are you saying? And I didn't hear him saying none of that at all. Didn't say any of that. I heard him saying, you need to work on the planning you need to do for the festival you do. You need to work on things you do for sports team you coach. You need to focus on these other things. And none of those things make me money. And I'm just like, okay, well, if that's what you're telling me to do, you're telling me to take all this time I have now and focus on stewarding these things, then that's what I'll do, and I'll get more organized and disciplined in those things, and getting back in His Word. I've been reading my Bible again, been actually journaling, like getting things out of my head on the paper, like He's been telling me to do for years, and He's been blessing me with. There's like this silly ass meme with the cow, and it's like I've been plagued with the visions since birth, but He's been blessing me with the visions, and they don't feel overwhelming, and I'm like starting to understand. And even though I don't see how everything connects, or maybe all these things that He's telling me about that'll come to pass aren't like in the next year or a few months or 2 years, but getting them down and just moving out of obedience and starting to move out of purpose and alignment with God, because I have the most peace I have now than I've had in the past like 3, 4, 5 years in contentment. Like before had a job a few years ago, I was making like $2,500 a month. Slave wages, garbage. And then steward that, then He blessed me with another job where I was making like twice as much, sometimes more than twice as much a month than that. And then I did not steward my money right. I just DoorDashing all the time, lifestyle inflation. So it's like if you're living off $2,500, you're making double that a month. You'd think you'd have money to pay off bills and things like that, which I did, but I didn't do any of that. I was kind of would, then I fell back to my standards and my money habits, and I didn't steward any of it right. Just DoorDash and shoot. I just spend $50, $100 a day just because I woke up and I'm breathing, and then left that job because I was trying to pursue another thing that I thought would be a fit. Got fired from that, and then I realized like I have more peace now with no money. I've been eating the goddamn Machiraku, however you say it, and Top Ramen. You know what I'm saying? Going for 45, 49 cents. You know what I'm saying? I know local market prices on those now. But I have so much gratitude. I'm like, God, thank you that I even have the money to be able to afford this. Thank you that I ran out of them, but at the time had the hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs I could put in it too. You know what I'm saying? And like, thank you, I got the faucet water I can drink. Like, and before I was eating gourmet. I was just DoorDashing whatever I wanted, eating the Thai food place all the time, and like no prayer, no gratitude, no thanking God for the abundance. But now that I'm like not in that position, I'm more appreciative than ever, and I needed it, because had not, I'd probably still be going down that path that didn't have God in it. And so I'm just super thankful for the ability to hit like this rock bottom, and then because I feel I'm doing definitely on paper worse than I've ever been, but like in my spirit I feel more alive and more free, and I'm better than I've ever been in years. And so I'm just grateful for it, and just learning to not add or take away what God's saying. If He's telling me to do this, then it's do that. He said sit down, record the video, drop one a day. I didn't hear Him say go refine the video, go find some super aesthetic place to shoot the video, make the video the best it ever is gonna be, go crazy in the post process and edit, and then I'm just recording this, I'm uploading it like right after. And I feel like a lot of times we add and we take away from what God told us to do. Because me and just how I was raised, I believe in like doing things in the spirit of excellence, or like it needs to get your best foot forward. And then I start getting caught up in the audio. My mic came with like some software and settings, and then like a couple months after, they just stopped updating that software. So like I can't do it anymore, and just this audio quality is what it is, and He didn't say it needs to have any crazy audio quality. He said, I provided you the mic, plug that in, shoot the video. So that's what I'm doing. Because before I'd be like, stuff needs to get so many views or this or that. If I'm doing it, it needs to continue this. And it's just like, nah, just like, what did God say? Sometimes he just says record the video. Sometimes he just says write out an idea for the video that I'm giving you. Sometimes he's like actually upload the video. So just instead of assuming and then creating my own fantasy of what God is trying to do with something or not do with something, and then when it's not going the way I want it to, I'm just like, God, what's wrong? And it's like, he's like, I never said any of that. I just told you this. Be obedient to that. And that goes in the moving in obedience and purpose, letting God control the outcomes, because I don't have control of any outcomes. I've done some things that are very successful to others' level, and no one just like, bro, like I didn't really do nothing crazy. I just did this, that God told me to do, and then like it went crazy. He did everything else. I couldn't tell anybody else how to replicate this besides having God in partnership with him. And redefining my idea of success. Success to me now is do like kind of the Earl Nightingale definition of success is any person in pursuit of a worthy ideal. However, I try and God's been putting on my heart, my spirit, that it's obedience to God is success. And delaying the time, and getting better at the time where God is like, hey, do this, and then you executing on it, that's success to me, obedience to God. The outcome is the outcome. But if I'm obedient, I'm doing it in the way how he's told me to do it, getting on it when he gives me the word, that's success. Outcomes are just side effects. So, and trying not to project onto it, just like it has to be this, otherwise it's a failure. No, I can go to bed at night knowing I did exactly what God told me to do. And whatever the outcome is the outcome. Like, whether it's a bunch of money, whether it's a bunch of people come to the event, whatever it is what it is. I just know I'm in tune with the spirit, with the infinite, with God. And then like, okay, God, did I miss you here? Did this, did that? Is that how you want it? Or is this? And then be like, okay, on this journey, I know I did what I'm supposed to do, and I can live with that and go to sleep at night knowing I lived it out and executed it in obedience to God. And so that's just what's important now. So, Holy Spirit, I just think that's it for this one, and then another one coming.